kind of dispensing with the normal video format so that I can take a moment to just midrash with you guys. And as I've always said on this channel, I'm no Mgtow sage or guru or wise man. I simply take the truths that I've discovered and convey them to you. And so lately, I've been thinking about a lot of things. And I'm sure there are things that many of you have thought about. And so this is going to be kind of a disjointed discussion. And before I really get into it, I do have another video. I haven't had time to sit down and get the whole thing together, but I do have another regular type video on the way. So that'll be coming out later on here in the next few weeks or so. Facebook. Let me just jump into a portion of this, because for a little while now I've not had Facebook, and it's been good. It's not really been an issue, but from time to time, there is that temptation. There's a lot of people that I was served with in the military, people I met in college, and people I met through various different jobs that I've had, and even people that I no longer work with it at my current occupation, who have moved and went other places, but they're people that I would have considered friends, or at least people that I knew well enough that they were people I would have spent time with outside of work, and so on and so forth, and kind of care how they're doing, And Facebook, as most of the studies suggest, is actually kind of a detrimental thing for most people. It actually causes a lot of people to be depressed and anxious and so on and so forth, because essentially, and I've said it here on this program, what Facebook boils down to is it's kind of like it's almost like a PR agent, in that people put what they want others to see on there, and so they build this image and craft this persona on there, and so of course they only show the good things, and people have a tendency to believe that that's the reality in the life of most of those people. And so when you look at it, you think, man, these people they're going on all these vacations of this one got married, this one had a kid, this one just got this job promotion, so on and so forth. You can see what I'm getting at here. But of course, it is no real indication of that person's happiness. It's no real indication of what really is going on in the day-to-day life of that person. It's only snippets, literal Snapchats to some extent. So you say, John, why do you bring up Facebook? We're Mgtow. Most Mgtow understand that Facebook is gynocentric. It's something that most Mgtow have, I think, realized at this point is not a positive or beneficial thing to be on. Shifting to another point, I had met this girl a while back who, for all intents and purpose, had been in the military, was doing a similar type of job. And we had talked, and we'd hit it off, and she thought I was funny and all this kind of stuff. She was a little bit older than me. And of course, there were many red flags there. And this is something I'll go into in another video, because I don't have time to go through the whole history of it. But by that point, I realized, the pattern with most relationships. And it was that they're not yours, it's your turn. I think, again, that's a foundational Mgtow principle. That is as foundational to Mgtow as the resurrection is to Christianity. They're not yours, it's your turn. So if you go into that understanding that principle, you're really not disappointed. The thing is that all this person wanted to do was drink alcohol. That's it. I mean, we couldn't go do anything unless alcohol was involved in some way, shape, or form. Well, I wasn't really that big into alcohol. I'm really not that big into alcohol at this point. But to each their own. I mean, if that's what they wanted to do, then, they have to live their life, make their choice. The thing was, though, is that they weren't interested in anything other than that. They had no interest other than alcohol, and maybe they would talk about Game of Thrones, which I've never purposely seen an episode of. I think I saw a scene of it a while back, not realizing what it was. And just things of that nature. But when it came to this discussion of other things, they were very anti-religious. And I say that to say that, I couldn't even speak about Buddhism or Taoism or, things that, I mean, in my personal opinion, are more philosophies than religion. Even that seemed to be off limits. So I'm not criticizing, if you like Game of Thrones or you like to drink a beer every once in a while or whatever. That's not the point of this. The point is, I guess the point I'm making is how alienated intellectually I feel with most people. And again, I'm not this vastly intelligent person. But I brought it up in this venue because I get the sense that many of you guys out there feel the exact same way. And I spoke with a guy at work. He was a friend of mine that recently went through this divorce, and he's trying to get back into the dating scene. And we've had a few conversations here and there, but he's still very firmly planted in the blue pill camp because he still wants to, I think deep down he knows the truth, but he still wants to believe that there's going to be this woman out there that's going to solve all of his problems. Because I think at the end of the day, that's what the blue pill thinking really is. Because as people, I mean, human beings, male or female, we want things to be as simplistic and as easy as they possibly can be. So it's only natural that many of us early on, with the help of some of the programming that we receive, think that if we just meet some woman, she's going to solve all my anxieties and my depression and my loneliness. And this woman's just going to do it all. She's going to solve all my problems, thereby alleviating any responsibility that we have to take charge of our own lives and to take charge of our own issues. Again, a very basic, simple concept that I think most of us Mgtow by now understand. But he made the comment, because he's gone out with a few different women here and there. He would just like to meet somebody that didn't have to sit down to dinner with a Coors Light every time they went out. He'd like to meet a woman, he mentioned the whole Game of Thrones thing. He's online dating. And he said, everybody on there likes Game of Thrones, and he doesn't know anything about it. And so that brings me back to the whole Facebook thing. And I've said it here on this program before, but it still, I don't know, boggles my mind to some extent. Like all these people that I've met over the years, and the vast majority of them, even people that I thought I was close to and was friends with have not endeavored to really keep in touch with me. And I guess the argument could be made I haven't endeavored to keep in touch with them. But that's kind of the thing, is that, I always feel like I'm the one that's, making the effort in regards to everything. And then there's the whole work thing. that's basically all I do is work. And then of course, I get about 2 days off. And it's like, I guess I could go do things on those 2 days, but my schedule is such that at the moment I'm not on a day shift type schedule. So it makes it difficult to get the required amount of sleep, but then also seize the day when you have the time to do so. And going back into the Facebook point, it's like it made me kind of think, it made me kind of think, well, again, you look at people's persona that they've built, and you know that that's probably not really them, and that's not their day to day life. But it made me kind of realize, what have I been doing the past couple of years? I feel like I've lost a lot of time in, I guess, just living my life. And I think probably a lot of you guys have felt the same way too, because of a lot of the time that we wasted in our youth on relationships and thinking things would be different and pursuing the unicorn and all this stuff, and it took time to gather this Mgtow knowledge. It's kind of why I think a lot of us envy the younger guys who have the internet, the ability to just read an article about it at this point. I think there's a big difference, as we've discussed, experiencing this stuff as far as internalizing it and understanding that it's all true versus just reading some uh, older MGTOW's assessment of it. But again, I just kind of feel like all I really get done is working. So I mean, I could sit there and be upset about it or whine about it or kvetch about it, but I think the MGTOW way is to be like, man, I'm glad I had that realization. Uh, and then try to maybe figure out a solution to that. Okay, well, if you don't feel like you're spending enough time on meaningful things in life, or things that are more meaningful than just work, what do you intend to do about that? Because there's only really two choices: to either continue to allow that to be the case, or to do something to change that, to live your life with more purpose and meaning, and to make that a priority. I think a lot of MGTOW guys, it's not that I get lonely, because people do ask that when you're not in a relationship, you're not married. Um, it's not so much a loneliness, but it's just this, like, um, alienation's really about the best way to describe it. This it's like I don't understand the world around me. It's like I don't understand the world around me quite as much, because I don't feel like I'm a part of it. Because in a very real sense, MGTOW are not a part of it. And so it makes it very difficult to form any kind of, like, meaningful. Um, and it's not that we're so intelligent and so wise and so smart that we just sneer, down our noses at people. It's just that most people don't think about anything that's of any real interest or of any kind of, like, eschatological, that has any real world value. It's all about what the next meme is. It's all about what the next, season of this new television show is. It's all about what I can do, especially with a lot of the guys nowadays that have not been, uh, stirred from their sleep. It's all about, well, what can I do to impress this girl, and so on and so forth. So I just felt like, it was something I needed to say. I welcome any dialogue and feedback. Maybe some of y'all have some ideas on, how to do, kind of navigate that. Generally, for the most part, I deal with it pretty well. But I get this sneaking suspicion that many of us deal with it from time to time, just this whole not belonging in the world, in the culture. And if we're being honest, it does make life somewhat difficult. In addition to everything else that Mgtow are dealing with and having to face. And the irony of it is that the way that the society is there's a lot of you guys, and I've said it before, that I'd love to do a meetup with, but basically that's kind of out of the realm of possibility because of the, again, not fitting into the society and being doxxed. So, like I said, guys, there'll be another video coming shortly. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to this, and any kind of feedback, criticism, compliments, complaints, bitches and gripes would be greatly appreciated. As always, go your own way or don't. The choice is yours.